Well, what do we got here? Got ourselves a classic Schwinn. Well, not that classic. This looks, wait, what? A little newer. Oh, snap. Yeah, this is not like your 70s, 80s, 90s Schwinn. This is a 2000s Schwinn, which is probably owned by, what, the third or fourth acquisition company. Maybe Pon at the time. I don't know. We'll have to take a look. But in any case, the Schwinn Fastback LE aluminum. Pardon me there. It does have a cool little, a little sticker here, butted aluminum, big nice welds. Looks like it has, what is it, Tiagra with 105 componentry on it. A mid-range entry-level bike, right? I mean, for the time period, you saw the same mix of componentry on the Trex and the Specialized. This probably came in a little bit lower. And honestly, this particular brand was still being sold in bike shops. This is not your Walmart Schwinn. It is a bike shop Schwinn. But hey, if you got something like this, what would it cost you? Is it really a good bike? Is it valid, or does it hold up to others in a particular time frame? Let's review after this. Welcome to I Know a Guy Bicycles, hanging out with a guy. Hi, I'm Justin the Guy. Obviously I have a garage shop. Take scary out of used, one bike at a time. If you want to be kept up to date on latest projects and topics, please like and subscribe. Hey, welcome back to I Know a Guy Bicycles, hanging with a guy. Hey, I'm Justin the Guy, and what will it cost you? Well, that is a good question, right? I mean, you get a bike like this, and you're like, what is it gonna... How much going to put into it? How much are you willing to work on it yourself? Or how much is it going to cost if you take it to a bike shop and have those guys, gals work on it as well? Well, in any case, a Schwinn Fastback LE. Schwinn Fastback LE was not really a model that was really sold or actually named in the 90s. I don't remember. When we were a Schwinn dealer at Parker Bikes in that time, it was more like the Voyager and the Paramount series and so forth. Well, names got all mashed up or whatever. I think the early 2000s they came out with the Fastback. This is probably like the third or fourth one of these I've worked on, and actually they're not too bad of a bike. I mean, it's still comparable to like a Jamison, a Fuji. No offense to you guys if you get all bent out of shape. It's a different kind of world that this particular time frame was. I mean, yes, they were putting Schwinn bikes in the Walmart and department store brands, but they had a separate breakout line which was being sold to traditional bike shops. I mean, independent bike shops, usually smaller or what have you, but in any case, they were still being sold through there. Not a big line. I mean, it's a few models there, and a couple of the companies that did acquisition, financial backing company, investment firms, stuff like that, to try to build up brands and blow them out. I think it was maybe like the third one at this particular, I think it was a 2006. In that case, they were still breaking that line up between the department and actually selling them into the actual bike market, which is great. I mean, at that particular time, this particular bike componentry, 105 Tiagra with 9-speed, was that early 2000s mix, which you still saw those on the Trex and the Specialized and the Jamisons and the Fujis and the Cannondales. I mean, needless to say, the same mix has been put on there. This one, interesting though, it says it's made in China. Not sure which manufacturer in China made it though. Typically, a lot of the bikes that you see in bike shops are built in Taiwan. Merida and Giant is the two big fish in the Taiwan market. And some Giant does have, I think, a factory in China, mainland China. So it's kind of like a mix over. I don't know. It's all just kind of crazy hot mess. In any case, back to the bike. Original owner, it's in for a tune-up. Well, what would it cost you if you're going to get a bike like this or have a bike like this that needs to be tuned up? Is it worth it? Well, absolutely. Why? Well, the bike itself is actually pretty decent. We just talked about it. You got yourself a double-butted aluminum frame. Not too bad. Has some decent welds on it. Has a little tricky little nubbin for a big pump that I used to put in there instead of CO2s are now today. Has the Enlightened sticker, which is kind of a cool little graphic that they had. They got rid of the original head badges with the date stamp on it. That's the more newer version, so that's kind of a show off right there. And the componentry mix, I pretty much remember seeing this mix on one of the Trek's Pilot brand models. Also, they're lower in aluminums, which is like either a 1.2 or 1200, depending which year you're looking at from the Trek model, or the Lay from Specialized. So when you're looking at this particular mix, and quite honestly, all the manufacturer is responsible of designing and making and so forth is just the frame. But then again, that's the frame is one of the most important parts because it's the geometry. It makes the bike ride differently. More of a compact design, has medium there. If you talk to John Bradley in one of my meetings before with him, he worked at Schwinn at the early like 99 to 2000, where just when the compact frames were starting to be pushed out. That's information. You can watch one of those videos. I have a link below. But in any case, historical on this, the Schwinn has a big name, still does even today. I mean, even though the original Schwinn, Eddie Schwinn, lost the company, and I think in 95 or 96, we're talking about almost 20, 30 years later. The Schwinn name is, even though it's no longer affiliated with the Schwinn family, actually is pretty strong and solid. People still recognize it. Anyway, looking at this bike, let's do an overview. She knew already. She knew she had some issues. Its original owner, which is hard to believe considering the age of the bike. I mean, usually these get bought and sold several times. It's had several different rides. The MS-150 or the MS ride that she did back in, I think, Atlanta or whatever. Kind of cool. That's where I'm affiliated with for a charity right here. So what we came across on official assessment is she knew she needed tires, so she brought in tires. And she's doing the guy's magic tune-up, which I'm going to be replacing the cables in the housing. That includes a drivetrain clean. And I'm going to up that up and do a little detailing and try to get some of these buff scratches out to kind of make it more original, clean. I think I can get it to shine really nicely. She brought in some tubes. So that was it for what she brought in. Well, the bar tape, boop, you got a little dinger here and that kind of thing. Since I'm replacing the cables in the housing, I got some bar tape to put on there, and then she upped her game to doing a pre-waxed chain. These are pre-waxed chains that I provide too. So the chain is a little bit stretched out. Drivetrain clean will take care of that. Looking at other aspects of it, a big old kink here in the cable and housing. Cable and housing is going to run you about 20 bucks. Then I don't charge additional labor for putting on tubes and so forth or wrapping bars. Some shops do, so keep in mind of that. If you're doing a tune-up package and it's like their $150 package, some of those things that are not on that list will be a la carte added as a labor piece. Came across that in a shop that I worked at, and it was kind of weird to me because back in the day we just had the shop, this is your tune-up. This is where we're going to charge you regardless of what we're going to be doing on it. So it's been a few years since she's been on the bike, obviously, a little bit. And I'm going to be doing some cables and housing. I'm going to make the cables and housing long enough because this profile stem is at a more flat position. And she may want to be a little more elevated. With my tune-ups, I provide a static fit. So to kind of make sure that the bike is adjusted correctly to use, because a lot of times the bike never been fitted to you to begin with. Like in this case, she bought it in performance, rolled it right off the floor, didn't get any kind of a fit to it. So that can be an eye opener. So I want to be able to have enough cables and housing to bring this up. So if she does get it, for that adjustment reason, because you do the cables and housing too tight, then you have to redo it to bring up some height. So just a little bit, I mean, you're only talking about a little bit of extra housing on there. So that's actually more beneficial than a takeaway. It does have Shimano hubs on some JLCO. I don't know what the brand is. It's new to me, but that's not too typically uncommon. It's basically an inexpensive double wall anodized black rim. So not bad. Has all its reflectors on it, which kind of means it's was ridden and then put away, that kind of thing. And the tires on the blue ones, these are old Continental Blue Sports. Kind of cute. You were doing some colors back in the day. So yeah, and another little issue is the front derailleur. This is a Tagger, front derailleur, Tagger from Shimano. I have a handful of these somewhere where the little catch pin for the spring was just either hairline cracked or what have you, and it pops, and it becomes just a dead little shifter, or actually it's a derailleur. And so luckily enough, I have a replacement. Actually, it's a 105, which will be an upgrade, a triple. So this will give her the shifting range back in the front. Needless to say, she would not be able to ride this. So obviously missing a front tire, no tube, the front shifter's all wacky, tires flat in the back. So yeah, so if you got something like this yourself, you're going to have to put some work into it. What's this going to end up costing? Well, if you're looking at a tune-up, I mean, the tune-up itself, most bike shops would be about 150 to 200. She did the 150 package, which I have a little promo going on now, so it's going to be a little bit cheaper for her. And the parts, okay, so she brought in the tires, but if you bought tires outright yourself, these are nice tires. These are Roubaix Pros. These are about anywhere between $50 to $80 tire. But you can get away with just doing your $30 tires, possibly. Tubes, you know, $6 to $10 depending. So let's just say you're looking at $70 to $100 worth of parts just there. Bar tape starts at 15, goes up to whatever you want to pay. So you're looking at a chain, pre-wax, about 45. Front derailleur, I got a used one, so I'm going to charge that for 15. So you're looking at the parts there with the cables and the housing. The parts and the housing and so forth, you're probably looking at 150 to closer to $200. That's just for the parts. And if you're going to do the labor yourself, by all means, you can do all this pretty much yourself with some minimal tools. But in a sense, though, to do the full drivetrain cleaning, the detailing, and that kind of thing, that's a little more of a specialty expertise type deal. But you know, if you just need to get it together and to run, about 150, 200 into it, and if you bought the bike for, you know, about 200 to 300, most likely the bike market prices for used have dropped quite a bit. So in that perspective, you can get yourself fully tuned, ready to go bike for under 500 bucks and get out there and do some good riding. That's awesome. I mean, I can't say anymore because a lot of those bikes now, prices have come down. So if you're just getting into intra riding, road or mountain or what have you, you can get yourself a decent bike. And you're looking at this one that has mid-range componentry. To get that mid-range componentry, just for scale, looking at new, 1,500 is your beginning price. 1,000 to 1,500 to 2,000 to get this kind of level. You're looking at $2,000 to $2,500 for aluminum frame, carbon fork, kind of same, a little bit different kind of componentry. This one does have a triple front derailleur. I like the triples. They're going away with it. I don't know why. Marketing, whatever. Bring back the triples because these 2x and 1x, the jump between the shifting and the back is so huge you can't find that sweet spot, especially for road riding. I mean, you want a tighter cassette in the back with the range, and if you do hit bad wind or big hill or whatever, you want that granny gear. It's nice to have. I tell you what, you ever been in that situation? It's nice to drop down and just grind. Any case, off my soapbox, back to this beautiful gem. Classic silver bullet, like Silver Surfer, does have a carbon fork. Needless to say, oh, also little tidbits on this is the Ritchie stem, handlebars, and seat posts. And they did upgrade to the City Italia ladies saddle. I'm pretty sure that wasn't stock OEM, but a good little healthy parts mix, recognizable name, Ritchie. I mean, pretty decent. So, and this is the inch 31.8 or 31.6 bar, 31.8. So it does have the bigger bar clamp with the 1.1/8 headset sides, integrated bearings. So all the modern-ish bits, actually not too bad. So if you wanted to upgrade this, if you wanted to, you can. It has, I mean, a lot of older bikes you can too, but this still has a pretty wide range of even new parts that will still work on this just fine. So not really dated to the point where it's vintage and you have to go search for that, you know, bit that might be overpriced for whatever the main reason. But in any case, awesome little bike. So what I'm going to do is dive into this guy. We're going to be doing some parts. We're going to do a drivetrain clean. So I'm going to fast forward to that to show you what that is. If you want to know any details about drivetrain cleans, I have a video below how to do drivetrain cleaning and so forth. And we'll probably do a little bit of frame detailing. And then I do have another videos about frame detailing and so forth, so I won't regurgitate on this one. But we'll do a recap of what I find afterwards here of diving into this. Because you know what? Most mechanics like to turn on some tunes and get cranking. And I can't shoot a video and listen to tunes at the same time. I get a nasty nano strike. So we don't want to do that. But in any case, enjoy this little hangout, brief moment, and we'll see you on the flip side. Well, we got the parts clean. Oh, the pedals, just rinse those off. But look at those brakes. It turned out pretty well. So this is the new front derailleur I'm putting on. Here is the old one. And if you see right here, that's where that fail point is, where that spring kind of just detaches and just becomes basically a rattler at this point. So therefore, this one has a little more secure, buffed up area, I believe, and that should work on this particular triple. Got the derailleur all blown apart, all the jockey pulleys cleaned up. Cassette, boy, it had some kind of grease on there. Reminded me of Diamante grease, which is really hard to clean off. And here's the shifters. We go ahead. They were shifting okay, but I just wanted to clean them out. So yeah, you can put these in ultrasonic cleaner. I only do 5 minutes and spray the inside with a little bit of a degreaser agent. Some people can use WD-40. I use a little bit of carb cleaner, but you got to be careful not to strip or actually wear off any of the decaling with that. Chain rings, man, I had to scrape and scrape and scrape, but they finally came clean. My goodness. Related to whatever was on the drivetrain, which is still, you can see on the original chain. I did not clean the chain because I'm replacing that. So looking at the front wheel, turned out really nice. Got a little nice ceramic coating on there. And looking at the rear wheel, man, I had to scrub even the spokes individually. Each one, I can get most of it off. There's still a little bit here and there. But as much as I could put time allowed to put into it, definitely did a ton of scraping and cleaning. But the wheels are true, and the front hub was a little tight, so nothing really too shocking there. I mean, just your minor adjustments. And wham, bam, look at the polished frame. I have not put a ceramic coating on it yet. I'm planning on to. This is a referral customer. So definitely going to elevate the tune-up to the next package up and charge them for the price below, which is a discount I have going on, or a special, if you will. But this will be one amazing bike. So let's take a recap. Oh, did I say recap? I thought I said nap. Yeah. Oh, this one's taking me a little longer than I had thought. That being said, I don't mind. It's one of those situations where I know the customer at the end result is going to really appreciate it, that kind of thing. So before I did the 3 steps of detailing, which I have several detailing videos on my channel. You can check out the links in the description below for those. Detailing, I started with scratch and swirl. Well, I did compound, a combination between scratch and swirl and the compound, kind of isolating those scratches, kind of bring them down. Not eliminating the scratches, just making them less noticeable and kind of smoothing those surfaces out. So when I go ahead and use the actual polish, it gives it the best result possible. And now I'm going to clean the surface with all surface cleaner from lithium, and then I'm going to apply 1, maybe 2 stack, depending, 2.5, usually in about 3 of the ceramic coating. What that's going to do is actually put a nice good coating of shell over the actual existing polished paint, and it'll help shed any water, contaminants, whatever gunk on the drivetrain gets up on there. It'll help remove that while cleaning the bike. In addition to, it gives it a nice smoothness and a super shine, but the best result is prevents the UV protection of the decaling and the color of the frame. And also we'll put this on some of the componentry. You can wipe it on plastic parts and also rubber and also the saddle a little bit. That actually prevents the breakdown of the UV. I'm in Colorado, so we're a little higher up in the sun, mile high as they call it. So being that closer to the sun and having a lot more sunnier days, bikes being outridden are usually in the sun here, and they'll actually prevent it from breaking down and helping the UV protection. So ceramic coating is super important for our cars, for our bikes, for any kind of thing, anything put in the sun. I guarantee you, I mean, it's just crazy how stuff gets sun faded here, including myself, as I'm quite ginger and I get quite burnt pretty quickly. So, but yeah, let me just kind of go over what I do with the surface cleaner here. Put on a clean rag. So you're starting off with a good non-contaminants, and just give it a wipe down. What this does is prepare the surface, gets any kind of like, well, I've used 3 different chemicals on the actual cleaning of the frame. I didn't tell you, I actually used Purple Power diluted to start the cleaning process. Then in addition to, on top of that, there was a little bit of carbonator cleaner or brake cleaner, but only in isolated areas to really kind of get the gunk up. It had bad black junk spray underneath as well from, you know, tar from the roads or what have you. So this is a good practice to do, not just on road bikes, but on mountain bikes too. It added protection of cleaning of the paint, especially if you're paying the $3,000 to $5,000 for that gem of a bike of yours. You might want to protect that paint job. And you know, there's also these sleeves or whatever you want to put on the mountain bikes for protection and so forth. You can also put a ceramic coating on top of that as well, and it keeps that plastic from, you guessed it, scarring in the sun. Have you ever seen plastic scar in the sun? It's like, I mean, I know they say it's UV protected and all that, but a little extra protection is going to go a long way. In addition to, this is an aluminum frame, but if you had a steel frame, any of those exposed areas, even on aluminum where the gaps of the paint might allow water to get in, we'll coat those areas and give it a nice little film of protection of water penetration, you know, beading penetration. If you see any kind of ceramic testing on car hoods and what have you, it's amazing how tight the beads are. Actually, when you bump the bike, it just kind of sheds right off. And I did a little test too with muddy water. One with just being muddy droplets and how fast they shed off with just this mist of a water. And in addition to using dried mud, you know, how it kind of cakes onto the bike, it fell right off. So ceramic coating, it's pretty good stuff. So anyway, just wanted to give a little bit of feature on that. And I cleaned up the bars, put a lot of elbow grease into that. So once that's cleaned, basically a bottle of this, I mean, it's designed to do almost 8 cars worth, depending on the size of the car, of course, what I've seen. But for bikes and parts and rims, you know, this is my 2nd bottle this year. I don't know how many bikes have gone through. I'm at a half a bottle here. So for me, probably 4 bottles a year will probably do me for all the frames that I do. But for yourself, you can, if you have even 10 bikes in your stable and you want to get through all 10 bikes, this bottle is plenty enough to go through it. And I probably put on a little too much on the applicator because I'm just kind of heavy with it. But you just put a little bit on the applicator and you just go over the frame. And then I hit both sides. And you want to kind of hit I hit both sides twice on one application. Reason being that keeps it from missing any spots, kind of like a double up kind of deal. Then I wait like 10 or 15 minutes and I do another coating of it. Once that second coating is done, then maybe a touch up or a third. But realistically, if I'm doing double on each application, I'm doing 2 solid stacks. And what that means is you're layering it on top of each other, which gives you a very strong protection and extra smoothness to it. At first, when it dries, it'll have it's called flashing, which if you're like me, not a car guy, I've always been a bike guy, and detailing cars or polishing cars has never been a thing of mine. I haven't yet. I've gotten several of these and I have not yet done our cars, which is kind of ridiculous. So we have to do a little video on that. So kind of a spoof of like, oh, wait a minute. Any case, on bikes it's great because there's a lot of nitty-gritty little corners and parts and bits on there. So it's, you know, it's hard to clean those areas. And so if you're stripping the bike down to this level, I do have a video showing that you can strip it down and just taking the wheels off and kind of pulling the chain out of the way and get through most of the bike frame. So you can do it without any major heavy lift like I have here. I'm just, I'm already doing the process of working on this bike. So, drop my pad. Oh, fell on the bottom side. Good. The liquid's on the top side. Yeah, so that's why I have a couple of these. You can pick these applicators up for less than $5 at Walmart or on Amazon. You can have a couple on hand because I end up dropping it and always hits face down. And you don't want to grab it off the ground and just start smashing that turd on the ground right into the frame. So, if it's dropped, it's dropped. I'm a mechanic, bike mechanic forever, and we have the dropsies. It's just normal. That's why I have a rubber mat underneath me to actually help for comfort for standing. But in addition to dropping tools, they don't have a tendency of like bouncing around as much. Also, little screws and bits kind of keeps them from shooting across the floor. I don't know how many times I've looked for a micro screw that I dropped and it was like some dimensional distance that I have, like how did I get there? It's almost impossible to get there. So in any case, so I do a stack on my wet side. I put it on like either you put it on like some or plastic or something to keep it moist. You don't want that to dry out. When these pads do dry out, they start kind of getting all gunky like this. I've used these for like the rims or hubs or cranks or stuff like that. That's where they end up getting demoted to or demoted to or promoted, demoted, whatever. But I always start off with the nice clean ones to go from there. And I got a special package arriving today. We'll just pull that out here in a moment. Show you in a second after this. Here's a little bonus segment of this particular show. Being in a bike shops all these years, and we order parts, we know they're coming and so forth. And technology makes it a lot easier to track them and you know when they're going to hit. But it's always been kind of like, ooh, get to see what the new stuff is coming in. Being an inventory manager, that was always kind of fun and giddy. Like, oh, what do they got coming in that's new? It's like, awesome. So guess what? I got some new for myself. So, a little feature bonus thing. Unveiling and unpackaging. I know there's a whole bunch of videos out there that do like these weird opening deals. And I hope it's not my wife's package because it might be something that, is it? Okay, we're good. Because you never know. I don't want to unveil something that's not a personal hygiene product. Nope. That's not what this is at all. Save that package for later. Okay, I'm a bike mechanic dork working in the garage, doing my thing, working on parts, trying to hold a camera for you guys and kind of not jiggle and jangling. So I figured this would be an enhancement to our little experience here. And I wanted to see if you guys thought this would be a pretty nice addition, which didn't cost too much. I think it was under 30 bucks, something like that. Well, those little straps that go around your chest or your head that hold your phone, that's what you're watching me on. And phones from here on out are getting even better and better and better. So why invest in a GoPro and so forth when I really don't need to, even though they're cool. I'm not saying anything wrong with those. If you want to send me one and try it out, sure, go for it. But no, I use my phone for most of it. And I figured I'd try the Tellison, which is this particular brand here. Saw some videos on it and wanted to give it a try. Reason being is I didn't want something that looked like I came out of, a SWAT team expo thing. I didn't want something I just could throw on real quick, put around, and just start shooting because quite honestly, I'm in a bike shop. I have a business. Time is money, right? And I don't want to be monkeying around with straps and so forth or something. I just want something I can throw on real quick and snap my phone on it and shoot those angles that are first person perspective, and therefore you're ready to go. what really intrigued me is like I was just thinking about doing for parts and washing parts and intricate details of taking things apart. But I saw a guy, he was on a BMX bike and was cruising around, and he had an iPhone just like mine, and it seemed like to be working just as good. And quite honestly, I didn't have to use any instructions to unpack this. That's a first. Oh, kind of a choker. This is kind of a whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, let's move my mic. There we go. So yeah, this is getting kind of close and personal. So this is what it looks like. Apparently there's instructions, and I suggest always reading instructions. Said no bike mechanic ever. Apparently there's an extra. Was this something we're supposed to glue onto the? Okay, I better read this now. Oh man, I've got reading glasses. Okay. So I'm supposed to probably glue this, which I didn't see in the videos, onto the phone for the magnet to. Oh yeah, it's not just connection. Ooh, that's good ass grip. Okay, gonna have to do a little modification. Why? Because I have a phone cover. Can't make that go away. Why? Just mentioned it before. Mechanics have the dropsies. It's gonna hit the ground. So I gotta make sure I can modify this around the cover and being a mechanic as I am with handsy type thing, I'll show you what I do. Oh, hey, yeah. Yeah, boy. How to read the instructions, kind of make sure I'm not Gomer piling it up. That's probably not appropriate anymore, is it? In any case, yeah, let's take my spectacles back off, you know, old man. So yeah, let's put on the choker of death. Ugh. So seems to be pretty nice. Has a nice little padding on the back here, so when it rubs up right against your sternum, it's not too abrasive, and it has like that, kind of fun coil foam. If you ever took a drafting class and you have that bendy little thing to do lines, that's kind of how it feels. I'm not sure why it has its little grippy here, but I'll probably find that out later. So I put, yes, you guessed it, I put the magnet on the back of it, but decided to go straight to my case. My case is pretty smooth enough. I was going to get really creative and cut a hole in the case and kind of melt the sides and embed it. That seemed like a lot of work. I might still need to do that, and that might be something. So we might want to bend this a little. There we go. Okay, maybe like, I feel like Beetlejuice right now. Okay, get this on here just right. All right, so let's give this a little look-see and a try, right? Yeah, let's check this out. And whoa, that's really up close and personal. Wait. No, that doesn't seem right. Oh wait, hold on. There we go. Awesome. Yeah, I got a little bit of shaking, but I'm sure we're going to get a little bit of that on everything. So back to reviewing these parts. Got some brakes on there. You can actually see the camera up close, which is kind of cool. Got a little look-see here. So if you do a little jarring, we'll see you have the stabilization of the editing software. We'll take that out. Must, because the guy actually did pretty good. So we're talking about applications. We're applying some ceramic slam here, and we're doing our second stack. So get a little close-up and personal of how that is done. Kind of get all those angles, get into it, nitty and gritty kind of thing. And I got to make sure I adjust it with my right hand. Whoop! Kind of slipped right off, didn't it? There we go. There we go. Yeah. 101. So now I'm just holding the bracket with my left hand and then adjusting it up and down. So we'll see if the stabilizing effect works in the software. So that is that. And doing the second stack on the actual frame here. So I'm using my sternum to reposition the camera. So I'm sure my neighbors are really thinking I'm quite super dorky as this is unfolding as we speak. And I have a hard time keeping myself not looking at the camera versus on what I'm doing using two hands, showing you. There we go. Yeah, we're getting the hang of this. It's kind of like having training wheels for a mechanic doing social media 101. Any case, well, just wanted to feature this little tidbit here. And after I get this bad boy back together with all these spectacular parts, we're going to go take it for a ride. That's right. We're taking this for a spin, and I'm going to go over the features and how it is performing in real time after this. Alright, so let's give this a ride. Give this Tellison neck choke holder. Oh, make sure it's clips into place so I don't lose my stuff. Alright, that's how it clips on. Has a nice little firmness to it like I mentioned before. So yeah, are we ready for this? Let's give this a try. Alright, there's the bike. I still need to wrap the bars, but I figured I'd give this a good nice clip to it. Did you feel that? Oh, okay. Gotta move that. So I am standing vertically now. If I'm riding, I don't want you to be just staring at the road. So we're gonna give this a little bit of a vertical push. And that, I mean, I can still go further, but let's just give this a try. See if I lose my phone and everything that goes with it. All right, here we go with the Schwinn Fastback LE. And of course, you saw I have my helmet, and of course, I do test ride the flip-flops. So here we go. All right. Well, it feels pretty secure. Hopefully the vibration is not too bad. So I'm going through all the gears. I have a wax chain, so I diligently or gently shift each gear, because when you have a freshly waxed chain, you don't want to just go crazy. Give this a little bit higher up approach. There we go. So as I'm cruising through my neighborhood, checking each gear up and down, and as the wax is starting to shed, I can feel it starting to become a little bit smoother. Get another little ride. All right, nice windy day. So go through my gears. Check my small ring grounded gear up to my big ring. Works all fine. Test my brakes. Make sure I can slow down. And looking up, hopefully you have a good view. So the feel of aluminum is usually fairly quick, fast responsive. But over long rides, it does have a tendency of beating you up a little. That's where the carbon seat posts, more cushier saddles, carbon fork come into play. This has Tiagra shifters, which, quite honestly, I can't feel the difference between Tiagra and 105 in this vintage. Actually works pretty well. And stand up a little and get it a little go. Obviously this bike is a little short for me, but needless to say, it's a fastback fast. Yeah. All right. Oop. Got one of the smaller ring. Yeah. Look at that neighborhood view. There we go. So with the wax chain, I do take it on a little bit longer test ride to try to shed off that wax, excess wax, and give it a little more go. It usually takes about 5 miles or so for it to kind of shed and start kicking in, but once it hits that smoothness, it's pretty freaking amazing. And it's super quiet when you're pedaling. It's supposed to decrease or increase your wattage, whatever. If you're in that kind of thing. Yeah, this bike is back to lively new. Wow. Woo! And ourselves a little breeze, not too bad. But yeah, let me show you what this is all about. So, looking at the drivetrain here, you got the wax, and you can see it's starting to shed off a little bit. But after my treatment of trying to loosen up that wax, between the fan, you can probably hear the fan over the actual gearing. See how smooth that is? And my neighbor, she races and does a lot of riding, and she is currently on 600 miles on her waxed chain on her cyclocross or gravel bike. So, and that will all flake off. You can just see how that all will flake off. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The Fastback LE Schwinn. It rides like any other production bike. It is vintage, and actually it probably was a little bit cheaper back in the day, $100 or so, or two. Any case, thanks for hanging out with me in the garage. If it's beautiful in your neck of the woods like it is in mine, please go for a ride. You have a bike like this or similar, or experiences with the Schwinn in your past, please put comments below. Details of what I've done in this video will be in the description. The other videos of detailing and chain waxing and drivetrain cleaning and all that other good jazz I've been doing over the last few years, documenting on the YouTube channel. More welcome to dive into those and go in deep. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with me, and until next time, have yourself a wonderful day.